everybody, and welcome to the DevSecOps Virtual Summit. Today, we're going to be talking about AI-powered DevSecOps, the next frontier in software delivery. I'm Rita Patel-Jackson, and I work for OpenText as the Senior Vice President of Product Marketing, and I'm honored to have Alan Shmuel here, the CEO of TechStrong Group. Welcome, Alan.
Rita, thank you for having me. I have to apologize. This is not some AI-generated fake background. I'm actually out at the Barton Creek Resort in Austin, and I'm standing outside in this glorious weather, joining you today. So this is a real background, and I'm thrilled to be here with you.
And I'm very jealous because I am not sitting outside with this beautiful blue sky behind me. But I won't hold that against you today. And okay. I hope we have an amazingly lively discussion. So there's about 3 or 4 things that we really wanted to talk about. I thought we could start out by talking about the role of AI in DevSecOps, move on to some of the key benefits of AI-powered DevSecOps, and then talk about a little bit about the future of AI-powered DevSecOps and how it is today. And I think the fact that you're at this conference out in Austin today is timely in order to have some real-time discussions of like what you're seeing and hearing out in the marketplace of the future of this space. I think it's an exciting time. I like to start with this quote. With AI in the driver's seat, DevSecOps revolutionizes enterprise security delivery faster, safer, and smarter. Because we all know that the pace of software development has never been faster than ever before, and the demands for innovation is never higher. But when we think about the demand and how fast everything is moving, the risks and the security breaches are also incrementally higher. So what I wanted to start off with is let's start talking about a little bit about the future of software delivery. And I always like to get grounded on stats. I know, Alan, you and I debated on stats, but I like to get grounded on stats because numbers don't lie. Efficiency, right? 85% of the engineering teams report that increased efficiency with AI in DevOps, right? Imagine your teams being able to move faster, identifying problems sooner, and delivering higher quality software. 71% indicate that DevOps is a driver of the business value, and it's high, right? It's fueling the demand and the business. And 55% of the dev teams are already adopting AI, for example, testing and QA. Right? I mean, I see you nodding your head. So it seems like that these numbers don't lie and that AI is already here. It's not like we have to figure out how to use AI, but AI is already here in this space of DevSecOps.
So Rita, it's interesting. So all 3 of these stats deal not specifically with security, but with DevOps and development and using AI and IT. I'm at this conference in Austin, and there was some interesting stats that were brought up from some recent Gartner, Forrester, and another, I don't remember the third group. But basically speaking was, when they asked CIOs, when they asked executive teams, assuming the economy stays well, where are you making your bets? Where are you spending budget? AI was #1 far and away, right? The biggest number of, the biggest dollar amount is being invested into AI. What was second? Security. Security was second. And I will mention that headcount. No, headcount was way, way, way down the list because they're thinking they're going to do more with less headcount by utilizing AI. But when we look at how they're using AI, and those, I'm not debating those numbers with you, but the rise of, let's call it shadow AI, is something that I think all of us in the security industry need to be aware of. Because what's happening is there's organizations who are, I don't know if you've run into this yet, Rita, but have you met any chief AI officers yet?
Not yet, but we talked about this before, right? Thing. Like that is like a rising, that is something that we see starting to come up because you see it in the chief data officer, right? Because when you think of AI, you think of the data and the information. But what happens with the governance of AI in a lot of these business functions, right? Like how are you managing it? How is it being leveraged? And And so that leads me to the topic of what matters most to the business, right? So, when you think about what's mattering, first of all, you nailed it, right? Saving time without sacrificing business and technology coverage, right? The number one thing people want to do is try to save time so they can do more. Being able to predict the time it'll take to deliver. So specifically in the DevOps space, it's about being able to deliver more faster. The other thing that they do is how do you detect and eliminate the waste? We all know, going back to it, like the fact of having the resources. Development organizations right now are really looking at how do you get the most out of what you have? How do you leverage AI to automate some of the tasks that they already have that they're already doing? And then more importantly, how do you make data-driven decisions? Right? These are just four of probably what more, right? Like you started to talk about, what about the skilled talent shortages, right? Is AI going to help us be able to do that? Is security going to be a player in here? What about the constant issue of maintenance? Maintenance becomes a big problem in a lot of different areas, right? The more you build maintenance and managing and maintaining the software. And then how do you lower the cost of test coverage, right? So the list is endless, right? So what are you hearing and seeing? I mean, I think you just started to talk about the fact that AI is at the top and then it's security. What else?
AI, security, but then here's the other thing. It's marrying AI to IT, because what's happening is these chief AI officers and these AI initiatives are not just in the IT department. They're in HR, they're in sales, they're in business.
Right.
And the C-level, the CEO and the board is putting so much pressure on these AI initiatives to deliver now, right? Everybody wants AI to be real now. And they're saying, hey, IT could slow you down. And you know what's going to slow you down even more? Security. So, and this is an old story in security. We're always the caboose on the train, right? And they're saying, yeah, we'll get to security. We'll get to security. Go as fast as you can.
And they never do, right? Okay, you just teed up the next discussion. Thank you. It's about the challenges, right? The challenges facing the DevSecOps team today, it's real, right? It's not only the scaling. As the teams grow, the DevOps, the pipeline and everything grows, right? The bigger the teams, the more you got to do. You nailed it on the security, right? That with the velocity, the speed, security must be baked into everything that we do. And then speed, right? But yet you get the speed, then you're challenged of like, how do you balance scale with speed, with security, right? The challenges are so astronomically big. And DevOps is like at the center of all of it. You have to innovate, right? The big challenge is innovate faster because you have to be relevant in the business. But yet
but this was always, Rita, this was always in DevOps, right? Pick 2 out of 3. No, I don't want 2 out of 3. I want 3 out of 3, right? And don't call me greedy, but that's the promise of DevOps. You need all 3. We need to deliver all 3 of these. To deliver all 3 of these, we need our security, our DevSecOps team. They need to be empowered with AI, right? Because all these other pieces are using AI to go faster, better. Security does too. And I think that really, right there's the nugget, right? That's what we need to do.
I wanted to put this slide up. I think a lot of people have seen this slide, right? The various versions of the infinity model. And the reason I like it, going back to what you were talking about, right? It's speed, scale, and security. And it's security everywhere. And that's why I kind of like this view. It's truly embedded in every single part. So the modern software development, the demands mean that you have to, security can't be an afterthought. It has to be embedded in everything and everywhere. So where are you seeing it? I mean, we just started to talk, and the reason I wanted to put this slide up is, what I like about it is the infinity loop everyone's seen, right? You can see it in multiple different ways of how the cycle is, right? It's truly infinity. And what we forget is security isn't in one of these little chevrons. It's truly got to be in the entire cycle. I don't know why the slides are going backwards, but
Yeah. No, that was actually, that next slide after is a great slide. You know, one of the presenters I saw at this conference was GitHub. And, you know,
Yeah.
GitHub actually has Copilot, right?
Yes.
But there are now kind of co-pilots for security for developers. And when we talk about shift left and embedding it throughout this infinity loop, right? Certainly, you know, shifting left with security and embedding security into the developer's IDE so that
Yeah.
as they're putting in code, we're checking it, correcting it, making sure it's as best we can, vulnerability free and up and with the latest components and so forth. But that's not enough. Shifting left is not enough anymore for DevSecOps. For
No,
DevSecOps, we've got to be thinking about shift everywhere, right?
I know.
We've got to, yep, we've got to harness AI, shifting right. That's become a thing. Like for too long, DevSecOps concentrated on from developer to deployment. And then after deployment, you know, let's throw it over to the wall to the security team. It's not, because that's not really DevSecOps. That's more SecOps, if you will. Can't do that anymore. It doesn't
No,
work.
you
It
can't.
doesn't work. We
No.
need, we could use AI. We could harness AI to create those feedback loops, to create the connections from
Hmm.
what's called traditional SecOps to DevSecOps. And you know, using there's that I sort on the infinity loop, right? In testing, we've got to be testing for security as well as, you know, as much as we test for unit testing and scalability and everything else. It's too important for us to leave out of that loop,
And I wanted
right?
to put this
And then
up just as
go
as
ahead.
a
Oh,
as
you've
a
got it
point.
exactly.
I
Shift
got, I
everywhere.
know you started to talk about it, and so I'm like, let's just put it out here, because we do. And I'll go back to the co-pilot and what we do at OpenText related to it. But let's keep
Mm-hmm.
talking about this. About the shifting left is no longer okay anymore, right? It's evolved. It's evolved to
Yeah.
shifting everywhere, and that's why the infinity slide is actually the visual is a good one, because you've got to think about. It's the new era of, you know, we call it code security, but it doesn't end when you deploy the product. Like, you know, once you're done with the deployment, you have to think about the operation side of it as well. The security is
Mm-hmm.
from the planning phase all the way to the deployment aspect of it. And so you started to talk about it, and I'd love it if you could add on a little bit more of like, where are you seeing this? And let's talk about a little bit about the challenges and how do we overcome it? Because part of it is a mindset, we know that, and part of
Yes.
it is reality of how do you really bring that mindset into the shift everywhere.
And part of it is unrealistic expectations, Rita, right? I think
Oh, come
and
on.
I've been, no, I'm telling you, I've been involved in DevSecOps since there was a DevSecOps.
Yeah.
And, you know, Shannon Leeds started DevSecOps.org and wrote the manifesto for it. And I've been doing them at RSA ever since, every year. But one of the things I think we have to realize is no matter, as security people, no matter how much we want everyone else to be a security person like us,
Yeah.
they're not. Developers
Well,
want to
I'm not a
develop.
security person, Alan. I'm not even going to pretend to be a security person, but I
Oh,
understand
yeah, but
the
right.
challenges of security everywhere.
I think everyone
And
does. Everyone does. But I can't expect you to have the security knowledge that a
mm-mm,
security pro does. And I can't expect a
exactly.
developer to have that knowledge either. So I think it's the job of companies like OpenText and DevSecOps providers to understand that there's not a developer in the world who wants to develop in secure code. They all want to develop secure code.
Exactly.
But if you don't empower them with the tools to make it easy, if you think they're going to become a security expert, I think that's where we've gone off the tracks a little bit,
Yeah.
right? And I
I
think
agree
that's
with
what
you.
the open text of the world need to do.
So going to
Like,
that, I want to go back to the topic of the
right,
co-pilot.
I
So,
want to hear about your co-pilot.
well, we talked about it, and you actually started to talk about it. So what if your team had a co-pilot? And when I think about the co-pilot, I actually think about like a friend on my shoulder, right? Because a lot of what we do is a lot of we work in silos a lot of times, and we wish we had our best friends sitting with us. What if we could go from like manual to automation, and we leveraged AI and embedded security in everything that we do? And then we've got that. So OpenText, we built this DevSecOps Copilot, and one of the biggest things is imagine the assistant that you can instantly help resolve some complex issues, accelerate your release cycles, and proactively, and I'm going to use the word proactively, identify risks. Because a lot of times we're reactive, we wait for the risk to happen, the security breach to happen. Well, what if you could identify it right away? So that's what our DevOps Aviator does. It's, and I see there's a lot of words on the slide, but if you remember a couple things, right? It's about resolving issues proactively. That's before they happen, intelligently, right? A lot of the anomalies and doing anomaly detection. What if you could accelerate release cycles? What if AI, we talked about AI a lot, could help power your pipeline optimization? What if your friend over here, your assistant on whichever shoulder you want it to be, what if it could help boost velocity so that you have AI-assisted test generation and predictive intelligence, right? And then compliance and security is not an afterthought. It's what we talked about, right? It's everywhere with automated governance. So one of the words that I wanted everybody to take away is what the Aviator does is it's not taking away the job. It's helping. It's helping you. It's the assistant that you wish you already had or you always had. And we built the AI-powered DevSecOps with DevOps Aviator.
I want, because you mentioned Aviator. I don't know if our audience is familiar with Aviator. So
here we are,
DevOps Aviator.
DevOps Aviator. So DevOps Aviator, we're embracing the AI. You kind of know a little bit about it, so don't fool me. We're embracing AI to transform the development lifecycle. We talked a little bit about it, right? It's literally your friend and your assistant. And we're looking at it from all the way from initiation all the way to innovation. So think about guiding the dev teams, streamlining the workflows, right? Leveraging AI to help with the automation, optimize defect detections, enhancing the performance metrics, right? The other part of it is empowerment, leveraging AI to help us do things better, faster, more efficient. Think of AI-generated dashboards, being able to predict delivery timelines, being able to monitor your performance, and then ensuring best practices. Because the other thing is what if you could identify some of the bottlenecks earlier, and think about security vulnerabilities, before they happened. And then I talked about automation. What we're trying to do is you talked about resourcing, right? It's not the top of the list. AI and security is. But the more you automate the workflow, the more mundane tasks are automated, frees up time for your resources to actually work on things to move the needle in innovation faster. So it's all about efficiency, intelligence, and automation. But you need all of it, right? You need the intelligence to help drive the efficiency and automation. So that's what DevSecOps or DevOps Aviator does. And I'm going to pause in a minute. What I wanted to stop off is here. This is the platform, because as we both know, this space specifically, we like to look at different things. And you talked about, GitHub and Jira and things like that. So at the top, our DevOps Cloud isn't just a collection of tools. It's a comprehensive platform, but it's also composable. And I want to make sure that we understand the composability piece of it. At the core, we have 3 different layers, right? Intelligence is embedded into everything, insights from the planning phase all the way to the runtime. And then we have deep value tool chain integration. So we're integrating. So at the bottom, we integrate with any one of the tools that you're working with, whether it's Jira, it's Jenkins, it's GitHub, whatever the tools are, we're not making it up. We're connecting into it. And then we have this thing when I talked about composability and modularity. We're not fooled into thinking that we're going to provide the entire stack. What we want to be able to do is be able to help you accelerate and have the best delivery platform that you can possibly have. And with modules, we offer a wide range of modules, everywhere from strategy to agile to quality to functional testing to performance to release, and then operations as well. And wherever the need is, right? If you already have some of these tools, we plug in very nicely. And that's the beautiful thing about having a modular DevSecOps platform to be able to succeed, right? So it's intelligence at the top, being able to have a lot of these integrations, which I think is key, right? We're all in a big old ecosystem. Nobody's going to have a full stack. And then the fact that we want to accelerate the modules and the services to be able to provide the holistic view, because only then can you embed security everywhere, can you leverage the value of AI and analytics across your entire development value chain. So I'm going to pause now because I just talked a lot about OpenText, but and the DevOps Aviator and then our platform. But I'd love to get your take, Alan. Like, is this kind of like what you're seeing? You're at a conference right now.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a bunch of different things, and I want to hit on some of them if you don't mind. First of all,
Absolutely.
another piece that came out of the research at the conference from some of the analyst firms was that we have a new persona that we have to worry about in DevSecOps now with AI, and that's the data scientist who's managing those data lakes that you're talking about, right? Up to this point, we really focused on the developer. We focused on the QA person.
Fair
We focused on the release engineer, maybe the platform engineer. He's a new that's a new persona in our world. But the business intelligence data scientist in the world of AI is an important player. And we've got to make sure we have security for them to use. Next. You mentioned security and compliance. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to go on and I'm going to give you an example of Ben Secure Mercy Health. It's a great example of exactly what we talked about, right? It's what I love about this example of what Mercy Health did is during COVID, we all know things were moving so fast, incredibly fast, and we're chartering the unknown. And during the pandemic, Mercy Health leveraged our DevOps platform, and they were able to boost testing productivity by 20%. And they also accelerated their defect management processes. So think of all of the changes that the hospital systems had to do in order to manage and maintain the COVID pandemic. And the fact that they were able to boost the testing productivity by 20%, and then also accelerate the management of their defects so that they knew that they were getting their code out as fast as possible to manage all of the nuances that COVID was sending our way without any defects. And so I really like that example because it's kind of timely. And what it also shows is the responsiveness of when you have a true end-to-end platform and you have security embedded everywhere, you're leveraging AI, you're really able to accelerate your time to market. I wanted to pause real quick on this one, and then I know we're going to be out of time. But the future of AI-powered DevOps, it's now. It's not the future. It's not 20 years from now. We're living it today. And as we started the conversation out, it's already here, right? It's in like, I like to just talk about the three, but I think there's more than this, right? There's AI-based code management. We're seeing it in the intelligent workflows and the automation. We're also seeing it in the predictive analytics and the insights. And there's a lot of different areas that this is already being embedded, and it's been used for a while. So is this kind of the trend of what you're seeing?
Yeah. I mean, Rita, we're almost out of time. I want to leave the audience with one thing here. AI could be your friend or it could be your boogeyman. For those of you watching out here, make AI your friend because it could be your best friend. It could empower you, and you've laid out on all the ways here with the OpenText platform. It really is a game-changing technology for our DevSecOps folks out here. Don't fear AI. Don't think of AI as another complication in your life, right? It does all of these things you're laying out. As well, you have a quote there from John underneath. I have a fireside chat with John. It's going to play here later. Embrace AI. That's if you get one thing, embrace AI, and your DevSecOps will be better for it.
Thank you, Alan. And I want you guys to stay connected. Make sure that you connect into our DevOps Cloud community. Connect in with us on LinkedIn, as well as our various different pages. These are some of the links. Feedback is a gift. Your opinion matters. Complete a few of the questions as you exit to help us shape our future events. I know this is very quick, and Alan, I wanted to thank you. But most importantly, this is one of many. Don't get FOMO. There's 3 major amazing sessions coming up. Pick your favorite. But if you, and I know all of them are really good, but pick your favorite, click on the link here that says join session 1, 2, or 3. But if you wanted to listen to all 3, we're going to have a recording. So you can join any one of them and listen to all of the wonderful information that we've got on all 3 of these sessions. But I wanted to thank you, Alan, for taking the time out in your busy schedule and day, and the beautiful day that you got to have this conversation about AI and DevSecOps. It's, as always, great insight, and I think it was really timely.
Absolutely. Hey, you got me outside. I have to go back in now to the stuffy
I'm sorry.
expo hall. But no, I'm glad. I wish I could have stayed out here longer. Rita, thank you. Thank you for everyone watching out there. And thank you to OpenText for putting this on. It's great.
Thank you. And I appreciate everybody that joined us today. And please click on one of the sessions and go learn a little bit more about DevSecOps and AI and security. Thank you.